Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. I hope you're doing very good, lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter. Now, I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows just quite yet, but we are this close, okay? I hope you can feel it. Abby can. It's time out of time to rock Starship Earth, okay? So let's do this. Let's do this, people, okay? In the quantum, it has already happened. It's already done. We are already ascended. It's literally just our forgetfulness now leaving and dissolving, along with all the negative thought forms and belief systems that the old matrix was based upon. And as they disappear, poofity poof, in this quantum now moment, in no time whatsoever, the old matrix fully dissolves and the synthetic overlays and the firmament and the true skies and real realities will be revealed. That's what I'm seeing, okay? And I'm seeing that the solstice is very much the final curtain call. And it's literally the completion and end of all the ascension cycles and also all time cycles. So this is it, this is it, this is it. So the finale and final liftoff is here. I'm going to be in the field, I'm sure, during and around the solstice, working my magic. And I'm sure most of you will too, consciously or unconsciously. So thank you so much for everybody who was part of the activation, whether live or remotely, the call, the Christmas group call. If you still want to receive the replay and the activation, which was 42 minutes long and where we activated our and the cosmic crystal heart, opened and healed it further. So we're ready for the final supernova of the heart event, which is in full force and on its way, the tsunami of love that's healing and saving and ascending us all one way or another. Okay, so if you still want to take part, the activation was very powerful, opening the crystal heart and the igniting the new divine organic creatrix field, the new divine creatrix within our own template, and then we're going to radiate it and project this out now. So literally merging with the God worlds, it was very powerful crystal cathedral activation as well, and activation of our multidimensional DNA and Chrysa Sapphira diamond rainbow light body and the Albion body and spine of the planet and our own spine. So if you want to enjoy this, just click the link. You can, if you follow the instructions and sign up, you get basically an email, and that should tell you to click a link to access the contents, and then you can click the document, and that will give you the Zoom call replay details and the download link for the MP3 for the activation separately. So you can download this to your laptop or any device where you have, you know, enough space for a 42-minute MP3, basically. And yeah, any problems, any questions, just send me an email, okay, to Ramona Lapin, one word, @hotmail.com. The details are below. The same for any donations. If you find what I share of support to you, everything that I share freely. And thank you so much for everybody who took part, signed up, and is supporting me in all ways, shapes, and forms, like, share, subscribe, comment. Really, it all helps to bring these messages across, because I do know they are carry very important ascension keys and codes for our ascension, and the navigational tips and instruction sets really for our consciousness, for the new light body and for the new cosmic Christ consciousness. So the activation is and was very powerful. It really is a quantum field. So if you're even taking part afterwards, you're really taking part now in the quantum. Okay, so this is triggered, this is gone live. Not that this is the only reason why we're going to have the ascension now going full force ahead, and this is happening, because obviously this is one of many missions that have happened over many aeons, across many lifetimes, and many beings and consciousness groups have been part of this. So this is really the end. This is the end. This is the end of the simulation artificial matrix. There is nothing more left, and all shall dissolve now, like us awakening from the kind of bad dream that it was, literally. Okay. So I hope you can feel this massive quantum shift in consciousness, the transformation happening within you. You might be, quite tired. Because again, the multidimensional DNA in our light body is fully activated in our crystal body. We are crystallizing, and any remaining illusions and the density is fully lifting now from our morphogenetic field and that of the planet. And I see this imminently completing. Yeah, over the next, hopefully, 48 hours. So to say, roughly, although we don't like to be linear, and ultimately it's all a frequency, okay? But there definitely will be a massive shift. The solstice is gonna be massive. I definitely know this. I can feel it. I think you can too. Now, time ends. And actually for us being deeply rooted in the 0 point field, it moves ever faster. I'm sure not just for us, but for us even faster. So I don't even know where time is going right now. And this is dissolving along with the old worlds that were based on time. Okay, time matrix. It's a time enslavement system. So let go of time fully, which we did beautifully in the call. That came in very strongly as well. And obviously what we've been doing is always on behalf of all willing hearts and minds, and goes out into the field. So everybody is picking up on this in one level or another. And it's really now the divine creatrix field. New realities are awakening from within us. I can literally feel it arising along with our Kundalini, Kira Shah, which is the extended Kundalini currents. And we're really running now the 144 full dimensionalized frequency bandwidths, which are also connected to our 144 supermonic strands of DNA. And this is really the full ignition of our 13-dimensional physicalized DNA, but it's really beyond that. And the big message I'm also getting is totally transcend all kind of compartmentalization, division, fragmentation. Okay, so yes, we obviously still have words and numbers and so forth, but especially with dimensions, just go beyond. Because it's literally one organic divine creatrix field, then you have a cosmic womb, you have source, and ultimately it's still all the same. Because we're moving from a pyramidic type of consciousness experience, how it's been. Some people are very conscious, and then down here you have people who are very unconscious, and anything in between, to a circle of consciousness where you still have a middle and outer bands, but you're all in God source consciousness. So this is a full awakening, because there's no in between really. I mean, there kind of is, yeah, as we are, but we're not fully awakened until we're fully reached God source consciousness, which we are doing as one, because this is all about a healing and reset of the one consciousness, which is the cosmic monad. So this is what some of us are very consciously doing, but we're all part of this. Okay, the same as any templates, anything we're talking about, the same with the twin flames, you're all part of these templates. Because we're all one, literally, one consciousness. And we're just fragmented and compartmentalized, but we're all aspects of one another. And that's where we're getting to, where we remember this, where we're still sovereign, have our own mind, but we're very aware that we're part of the one mind and the one consciousness. And that whatever we do affects everyone else and vice versa. And that's why service to all is really the only way to go. Everything else leads to self-destruction of the organism that is one. And that happens in many different ways. So I also spoke yesterday about a big theme that's coming up is, as I said, the healing of the cosmic monad and healing the split, which is really between the masculine and the feminine. That's where the original split happened. And I've spoken about this plenty of times. So that's also what the twin flames are really healing. Because again, they were in one androgynous body, and then they split into two. And then we've been going through all of this to now come back to us being in separate bodies, but in one consciousness field. If you're in divine union with another person, such as your twin, but it can be any divine relationship, divine union. Okay. And again, we're going past compartmentalization anyway. All right. And that basically is also connected to the fall of the Lyran Stargate, the split within the Lyran royal families, which is also split within the Essenes. I'm going to leave some links below as well, okay, but some of the things I'm talking about, some additional information. And basically, this is also connected to the split within the Holy Trinity, within the pre-meta fields, where there was also division fragmentation at the ascended master levels. And then also the 12 original tribes, or 13, which are the magic grail queens and kings or tribes, yeah, which are the ascended, which are the original star races that have seeded us, which are us, which we are. That's what we're merging with, those aspects of us. It's not outside of us, no one coming to save us. We are us, we are awakening our own hero within, who has created all of this and seeded us. We have seeded ourselves, we are the creators. And that's what we are remembering. And as we're fully merging with that, there's no more victim-victimizer consciousness, no more war of light versus dark. All of this has to be fully transcended to transcend polarity consciousness, where it's a war between good versus evil, light versus dark, good versus bad. All the polarity has to be fully transcended within the 0-point field of divine love and neutrality, where you still know what's, a better, higher choice, but you do not fight, resist, judge anything anymore, which is how you can dissolve the lower realities fully, which is consciousness, which are frequency bandwidths, which are dimensions. It's all the same. And when you think of multidimensional DNA integration and you think this 12 or 13 strands is so way off, no, it's not. We've been activating them all throughout, and just a certain amount of us needs to fully hold this for the whole field to ignite. So this is very much about the cosmic monad, and also those of us who carry the Emerald Sun DNA of 48 strands plus, which is now also the triple diamond sun body of 72 strands plus, and it's ultimately the whole subharmonics of 144 that we're holding in general as a potential. And then you need to still, clear your field and activate depending on, how much you can access. But it's really all consciousness levels that we go up in through the dimensions. It's not that far off. And we've been going, when you're in meditation or in a very enlightened state, in nature or wherever, you might have these higher strands running in that moment, but just we don't run them all the time, because first of all, it would have been frying the grids. We don't need it all the time, such a high consciousness, surely. It's hard enough as it is. But now we get into a place where we're all merging to God consciousness, and the core cosmic monad and really the 144 and 144,000, this is like igniting from within the core of the monad. As the Holy Family, the Holy Trinity fully heals, so do the 12 tribes, the magic grail lines, queens and kings, which are also the dragon lines, which hold, the dragons are really the ancient key holders and blueprint holders of our ancient gnosis and wisdom, and the blueprints. They're the ancient before, they're pre-human, is our dragon aspect. So before we created humans, we were in dragon form. And these are not reptilian dragons. So anyway, because I know there are many distortions, many belief systems out there, you need to know for yourself what you believe in. But so far, I'm going to say this, and this also is connected to the whole divide between the spiritual communities and the Essenes divide, and the divide between the line families is ultimately belief systems. And I touched on this in the call yesterday as well. And it's very important, because this is ultimately what needs to heal. It ultimately heals within us as we heal and come to divine union with our own inner divine Holy Trinity, divine Father, divine Mother, and divine Child. That the divine union within births the divine inner child, the Christ child, the Christ Sophia or Christos Sophia. And that is what births New Earth. And what was I getting at there? So the divide between the royal families, the grey lines, the star races, which is really what blew up the Lion Stargate, and then other cataclysmic events and galactic wars happened. But this is kind of the core. And that's what we're healing, which again is also connected to the Essenes divide, okay, from Jeshua times. So this is the divide that we see today in the spiritual community between what some call love and light, some ascension mechanics. Then we have also obviously splits within those groups. Then we have kind of people like me, or most people that are listening to me, that would be more in a neutral zone, that take what resonates and leave the rest, and have kind of developed their own gnosis without describing too much to anyone, teachings, teacher, guru, that kind of thing, okay? Because I think whenever you describe too much to one thing, You're using your own authentic gnosis. So, but obviously we all pick up, knowledge and wisdom to also trigger our own memories because we've forgotten, because we've been brutally memory wiped. So that's exactly what's been retrieved now as the cosmic monad heals, has already healed at higher level, as I mentioned in my last video. And basically, this is the healing of the 12 tribes and star races and the stargates, the lion stargate. But it also needs to be said because we need to get over the division in between the spiritual community and people casting their shadows and demons and projections onto one another and thinking that any one group is bringing doom to the ascension process. It is not so. But there are definitely some that are bringing all of this home in a way by holding the neutrality in the 0-point field, whilst there might be a lot of polarity wars going on within the spiritual community. And yeah, and we really need to heal this, and we need to really come together. And I spoke of this before, and it's really, again, it comes back to ultimately the twin flames, who are kind of the heads or representatives of these. So the 24, which I mentioned before, or 27 plus the 3 of the Holy Family. So the 24, the 12 original tribes, twin flames, so 12 times 2. And those are the kind of core representatives of the cosmic monad, which represent the 12 original star races. Okay, and it's also connected to the Godhead and the elders that sit around the Godhead, so to say. So again, we all have access to that consciousness. That's what we're merging with, okay? But we still have people who are holding certain positions or responsibilities and remembering of what they're here for, that is igniting now, because this is already happening at higher level, yeah, in dream time or etheric or meditation and so forth. So now we need to bring this down to this level, and the twin flames are leading this, as I'm seeing and as I've shared, because as they heal the masculine feminine split within themselves and then with one another and come to origamic union, which again has already happened at higher dimensional layer and levels, which are also the cosmic dragon queens and kings, okay? And it's also very much connected to the Melchizedek lines and so forth. So all these, the priesthood of Ur, and, basically just the Emerald founders who have seeded humanity and hold the instruction sets to basically come up with the architecture. We hold the architecture and the blueprints in our morphogenetic field and that of the planet. And again, we all do this, okay? But some of us just hold more DNA strands and more of the new earth blueprints, and that are being ignited first in order to bring everyone else online, because we're all one. We're all just serving different purposes, jobs and roles. And as we remember what we're here for, nobody's in competition anymore. Nobody wants to fight for power. Because what I'm being shown also, ultimately what it comes back to is the war of gender, which this all comes back to, the core of polarity. So the war of the sexes is basically a war over power. Because it's who's always domineering. Any kind of relationship, isn't there sometime, most of the time one is more in control or more domineering than the other, or one loves the other more than the other. And that's exactly what we're fully transcending with the new relationship templates and the twin flames, where it's about total equality. And yeah, you will sometimes have one leading something more and sometimes the other, because we all have things we're better at or not so good, or, things we like doing more and another not so much. Because if we would be exactly the same, it would be, oh my God, very boring. So you will have a lot of compatibility, but also, enough differences to what's the word? Ergänzen. It's a German word. That's the English word. It's like the puzzle pieces where you just kind of, you are fully sovereign in your own field, but then together you're making more. It's like with any kind of group setting, and wherever you come together with another person, you're just enriching each other's fields. And that's the same with the field, the new energetic field that they share. So they have their own energy field, sovereign energy field, but then also one that they share in divine union with Source, which is the Trinity, which is tripling their power, gifts, and abilities. And again, we have this in any setting when we come together in divine union, but we can only do this if we are in divine union with self. That's when we really can empower each other. Otherwise, we're sucking each other's energy, as we've talked about. Okay. So this is all now about, as I mentioned before, so I saw the divine feminine totally surrendering to the divine masculine, or rather to her heart. So in the way, her own feminine, actually. And again, this is all happening within us. We're speaking about energy. So everything happens first within us and is then projected out, or also happening simultaneously, because we're all interconnected, especially with your twin or a divine counterpart or anyone you're strongly connected with at soul level, like from our monads and different soul families and groups. We're always influencing each other and helping each other heal. And we all just have different keys and codes. And together we make up, these sacred geometries of these different soul groups, as I've been shown. Yeah, it's beautiful geometric pictures that then make up these different soul monads and groups. So yes, so that's what we're shifting to, where we are basically empowering each other. The war over power is over, the war between agendas, and that is bringing peace to all, literally. Okay, so this is a massive shift of the masculine and feminine energies as they unify as one in hierogamic union. And this is also about the shift between the masculine and feminine, because the feminine has been holding the field in the container all the time. She's been very much in her masculine energy. The masculine has been in his feminine energy, again, in order to integrate the opposite energies and whatever we needed. And again, we have all of them. When we speak about feminine and masculine, toxic or positive traits, or divine traits, they, we all have them, of both genders. We're not just one. So that's what's totally been transcended. And the new template of the Christ as Saphira is also very much, again, unifying all races. It's about the rehabilitation template for all kinds of different star races. That is what this is really about, okay? A whole rehabilitation project of, star races, and also an expansion of consciousness, ultimately. That's the overarching thing, which you could only do you can only expand through the contraction. In a way, there is nothing without the opposite that exists. So you always have polarity, but again, we're unifying this within a trinity, which is also the, tri-wave, the symbol for that, where you have, instead of just a Vesica Pisces, you have a tri-wave or triveka symbol, which 3 circles interlocking. Okay. So anyway, so we are igniting the Holy Trinity within as they merge as one with Source, and that's the anchor for the unity field in general, okay? That's the tri-wave current, as I just explained, of the new diamond grid system, new Ascension Earth grid, and new divine creatrix field. So this is literally merging and bridging, having a heaven and earth, matter and antiparticle, meta universes, and literally all dimensions, all realities, all timelines, all as one organic creatrix experience. Okay, think organic version of a metaverse. It's very much like in a game, very malleable, very because you need to think this. We're still looking at density, although this is quickly lifting right now through the shifts in the magnetic field, the crystalline core, our hearts, and the pole shift. And the pole shift is all down to the shift between the masculine and feminine energies. And when I said about the plus minus in our own kind of feminine stuff and masculine rod configuration of our Macabic vehicle, this is bringing, and then also in the planet, which is shifting to 4 poles, as I've previously explained, and this is bringing divine harmony into our fields and that of the planet. And this is also correct in the axial tilt, because as the balance between the masculine and feminine came out of whack and each stepped into, kind of distorted aspects, that actually caused ultimately the pole shift and the axial tilt. That's at the core of everything, as I've explained before. So as we're healing this within, which is happening now, it's already happened and it's just rolling out. This is happening across the planet. And I see this completing now. So it's done because it is. So it is. So what else did I want to say? Just quickly going to check my notes, because otherwise I forget. The energies are very high. Just allow the rest. Okay. It's really powerful upgrades. Just totally surrender. Again, the feminine, surrender your mind. to your heart, okay, the feminine within us all. Just surrender to your heart. Ultimately, this is what this is all about. And trust, because this is also about the feminine knowing, like she basically surrendered to the masculine and has handed him the knife, which is basically the control of the field and to hold the container. And he's holding the container. Okay, we're speaking from a cosmic one consciousness level. Okay. And he now needs to step up or kind of step away. But I can't see that happening because this is already done. Okay, so he's going to step up powerfully. He already has. We are just stabilizing the field because she's in total 0 point field and just totally letting go of any kind of control, totally surrendering to the heart, totally surrendering to trust, trusting that she is now in her true feminine. That means he's in his true masculine because they mirror each other. As each one shifts, the other shifts. And only when you're in your true feminine or true masculine can you recognize your true feminine and true masculine. And he can see her now for who she truly is, and himself, because that's how he sees her for who she truly is, because he knows himself for who he truly is, which is at one with Source. That's how we can see through the eyes of God. And that's how we're projecting the new Eden and heaven on earth onto the holographic screen, because it's igniting from within us. And the big theme here is ancient memories now. And those that hold the Emerald Order DNA of 48 strands plus, they hold the architectural blueprints for New Earth within them, the Paradisian Adenic codes. And we are igniting this now for the field. And obviously, again, this goes beyond. Yeah, we all have ultimately part and have 144 supermanic strands of DNA. So the full divine template of the 144, that is what ignites ultimately the new divine creatrix field. We're going beyond what most people are talking about. I see many people, saying goodbye to the year and astrological alignments that are taking us into, I don't know how many years or months. This is the end of time. That's why I don't pay attention to astrology much at all, because it's always the forecast. You're allowing yourself to be programmed. It's like, yeah, might take notice, but ultimately we're totally transcending all these astrological cycles because it's part of a fallen system. So you're then programming yourself to a fallen astrological theoretical system, and the planets are not where they are used to be anymore, and won't be very soon, not at all anymore, as I see it. Now, take what resonates, leave the rest. As always, I'm just sharing what I'm being shown, my wisdom, and I implore you to do the same, or whatever your gifts and abilities are, because that's what you're here for, and that's what ignites more. You being your true authentic self, not worrying about what anyone thinks of you, is true freedom. Because that's just other people's expectations, opinions, and societal standards or whatever, even if it's within a spiritual community, that's even more dangerous. Trying to fit into any group scheme, group think, keeps you, bound to compartmentalized belief systems. And that then tell you what you see, instead of you seeing with clarity what's actually going on. And it's the only way how you're going to shift the realities, because if you keep thinking what you always have been thinking, you will keep getting what you've always been getting, although that's over now because this is shifting as one. Okay, so either you want to or you don't. This ride is over now. Okay, so the end of the artificial matrix is here. Let's do this, have fun with it. There are going to be some very high frequencies and coming in, helping us to activate our DNA and full blueprint. And let's see how quickly this goes, how this goes. We'll see. I see there's a lot shifting, definitely. And how the pole shift physically is playing out now, we shall see. Again, highest outcomes. This is a holographic projection, and there doesn't need to be any distractions. How quickly we can shift in quantum leap to the new organic creatrix field is up to us. You need to understand this is a dream, but this is also, you need to understand and remember what you're here for. And ultimately, this happens automatically, okay? So there's nothing to worry about, Ramona, okay? Because everything is going to be ignited from within us, and it's already on its way. So again, we're just relaxing, lie back, and the more we can be in the frequency of love, that's what's activating our DNA. That's why love is the key. And self-love is the key to everything, because only when we love ourselves, our true self, which means we have to gotten to know our true self, all of our shadow and light, okay, fully integrated as one, loving it all up. Doesn't mean we're perfect, okay, but we're constantly improving in our own unique way. And there is not one scheme or one ideal of perfection that doesn't exist that we need to fit into. All right. So all judgments, all of this matrix-based nonsense goes out the window right now, because that's all these opinions and belief systems and judgments, and where we think the others are wrong and we are right, is exactly what's keeping us apart. We need to focus now on what we agree upon. Isn't that new of now? Can't not all spiritual groups agree on that ultimately anything can change in any moment now? And that's the only time anything ever shifts, no matter what anyone has ever prophesied. So anything can always change in a blink of an eye. And that's the only thing anything ever truly does. Anything is possible, especially now. This is quantum. This is not linear. What do you want to create? What do you think is possible? Why do you believe what is possible is possible? Is it because someone told you that is possible or not possible? What are your limits? It's your belief systems. Why do you believe what you believe? Because somebody told you something. You're believing in something. Now, my suggestion would be right now to let go of anything you think you know, empty yourself fully, surrender to source, especially your mind, your thinking mind that is full of acquired knowledge. Okay, we're not talking about wisdom that is knowledge learned through wisdom, okay, that we've worked for and earned. But I mean, all the knowledge that we don't really know is really true. Okay, let that go. And in general, what do you think you know? Because it's constantly expanding, and just let source show you. Because that's where we're at. Source is going to show us. It's going to break for all the compartmentalization, all these belief systems, and the real truth is being revealed from within our DNA, from within the crystalline core of the earth, from within the crystalline caverns, and it's going ahead, no matter what anyone may hopes for otherwise. So, surrender to the heart, surrender to source, keep listening to your inner guidance and wisdom, because again, this is us being boots on the ground. We're the masculine, feminine in perfect balance, embodied, and know when to do, when to be, when to surrender, when to create, when to relax. There's a lot of relaxation, especially when these big upgrades, the more you can relax, the quicker this goes. There's so much you're getting done in rest and relaxation time and sleeping. That's where all the upgrades happen, and that's where you merge the higher dimensions, okay? So when you need to rest and you can, just do it. Yeah, and it can shift very quickly as well. And you're doing yourself a big favor. Everything moves much more quickly. Any kind of pain, any kind of upgrades, any kind of clearings right now, surrender. Don't attach to it. Okay, just know it's a story. Let go. I mean, obviously, again, if you need to learn something, ask for the lessons to be shown. But ultimately, once you're done, and you've done this millions of times, it's just energetically letting go and no longer feeding these belief systems that are not you in the first place. It's all part of the old matrix system that keeps you being in pain. Because any mental, any illness, especially physical disease, is down to mental, emotional, and spiritual imbalances. And that's all being cleared now, fully. So that the last bit is the physical. So know what it is, allow it. There's a lot of parasitic energies clearing right now. Just know it for what it is. Okay, support your body, however you've been guided to, and just don't judge it. The more you can just flow with it, with everything, be in a flow state and not resist, judge, or try and change it or control it, the quicker this all goes. And the new normal is ease and grace. Ease and grace. Okay? So fully transcend any ideas of good and evil, right, wrong, good, bad, transcend distorted polarity consciousness, which is you transcending the false matrix simulation. It's consciousness. Consciousness is at the core of all of this, and this is what informs the meta world. So as you shift your consciousness, new beliefs, new thought forms, you shift your reality and the meta worlds and our body, and we become crystalline. So from the dense carbon to crystalline. So this is all about the inner quantum consciousness shifts, leaps and transformation taking place, and about us knowing and trusting our true divine inner masculine feminine energies and merging with them. And that's birthing our new cosmic consciousness as a field. That's a new unity field. And that's truly now the Christ fully reborn. Okay. Christ mass. Okay. The Christ reborn en masse. All right. That's what we are doing here. So we're birthing all new worlds as we are projecting all new realities, aka thought forms and beliefs. So the projections of one another that I spoke about, the masculine of the feminine within us all, anyone we've been projecting upon. What I'm also going to be doing as part of the healing the tribes and bringing us all back together is I'm going to get in contact with a couple of people I've been guided to, which one of them meant to for a while, and I keep just not having the focus. And another person, anyway, and I believe we can all do this. If there are any people in your mind that you should be building bridges with, or that you might be judging or have fallen out with, and maybe through a misjudgment of your own, so to say, or just lost contact, whatever, these kind of things, which has especially happened over the last few years, 2 to 3 years, a lot, because of the differences in opinions. And we were all pointing the fingers at one another, thinking that, each one is causing the damage to the society and the organism, our health. So we can see this playing out in many different ways, also in the spiritual community. So look out for those programs, okay? We do not worship any kind of teacher, guru teachings. Don't get stuck in it. Don't get stuck in kind of your belief systems. Just let it all go and let Source show you the way and the real truth. And it's coming, whether you want it or not. And ultimately, we all want to know the truth. It's just that knowing, what's going to happen the next month or in 3 months, all these forecasts, or even the next 100 years or 900 years gives people a false sense of security. Instead of them going, okay, what do you want to create right now? What do you think is possible? Okay, having like the Bible or a certain set of teachings to tell you what to do and what's right and what's wrong gives you a false sense of security. So that's you giving your power away, ultimately, because all the knowledge, all you need to know, all the instruction sets are all inside of your DNA and they're unique to you. It's all within. That's all you need to know. You just need to become silent and let go of what you think you know. And just empty yourself and ask, and it will be given. Okay, maybe not straight away, but it will come, especially now, as all of this shit is clearing out of the airwaves. Okay, and we're fully connected to Source, the Godhead, the God worlds. That's what we're connecting with. So no more compartmentalization between dimensions, beyond 5D, beyond 12D, just the God worlds, merging heaven on earth. That's all there is. Okay, and then you have a cosmic womb and just pure Source. But you get me. Ultimately, it's all one frequency now. No more division between the consciousness levels and layers. That's what all of this is. So one base frequency, okay? Which is God Source consciousness. All right. So also about the masculine feminine. So the whole misuse of power is also basically that the distorted or fallen masculine aspects or templates had to make the feminine feel less in order to gain control. And that's what's also been seen in much of, when you have this whole template of the masculine runner and the feminine chaser, which happens in all of society. When men are less wanting to commit and women are the ones who want commitment, that kind of thing. It's in all dynamics a lot. Okay. And again, this is not down to gender. These are energies. But basically, he had to do this in order to kind of gain control. So it's a misuse of power. But she also allowed it by not using her power and knowing her power correctly. And I'm also going to leave a link down below. It's about the collapsed feminine. I came across this on my YouTube feed, and it's really good short video on showing when we are in our distorted masculine feminine energies, and the opposite ones, and how this can play out in relationships. Okay. Then it's different to dissolving into the container, the collapsed feminine. All right, I just want to say it's different. But that's just us being in our distorted kind of aspects and too much masculine or too much feminine and so forth. I found it quite helpful just to more explain what I'm talking about here. Maybe it will help. So as we are stopping, as the feminine now stops and doesn't play this game anymore, is totally holding the 0 point field and the still point in the field, the whole game collapses. And he steps into his true masculine, because she stepped into her true feminine, which is the super magnetism, because she's more magnetic. She cannot be more electric, which she has been, which is more in her masculine. So she needs to be back in her super magnetism, which returns the super magnetism within the field. Actually, the masculine also, which I see, needs to be more in the masculine, because it has to do with the perfect proton seed and the new carbon, or like the new atom composition from carbon to crystalline, from the 666 to 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, to 13 protons, 12 electrons, 13 neutrons, as I've been talking about. And that's also the 1312, which I use as a code also for the Christmas call, is very much for me the feminine masculine unification, and us having at an atomic structure, all of us, more magnetic than electric energy at an atomic level, and then as a whole. Okay. So that's how we are returning to the supermagnetism of the mother, as I'm being shown. Because we all need to be more feminine. We all need to lead more from the heart, more from the magnetic. Just slightly. But again, we all have, in each moment that will differ. It's all about, like, we always, there needs to be certain variations, of energies and interplays between energies, between people, and so forth. Again, expansion, contractions, and because if anything, everything would just be always like that. Change is the only constant, especially where we are going. Everything becomes even more what's it called? Listen, the words. The words are leaving as we're leaving the lower realities. We're just going to be singing and humming and toning with our voices. Otherwise, telepathic connection. I'm looking forward to that. And the telepathic field, which is part of the new cosmic heart grid, is already fully online. Now, I don't know what I was talking about. Anyway, now also part of the activation yesterday, which is in general coming fully online, also with the cosmic MONAD healing and reunifying through the twin flame reunions and herogamic unions, is that we are accessing and completing the merging with our lion and Elohai, Elohim aspects, so our ascended master aspects and stations of identity, which again is also the pre-meta layers and levels of the threefold founder flame and the gold order, the amethyst order, and the blue ray. And then you also have, again, and that stems from the emerald order or the green ray. So that's where also, again, the distortions have happened. So when you look at teachings out there, okay, for example, the Ascension mechanics teachings, they are, as I'm seeing them, from an 11th dimensional viewpoint. They come because the access hasn't been there. We haven't been able to access the corrected ascended master levels. There has also been distortions at the ascended master level, at the guardian level, as I've just mentioned. Okay, so any of the information we have access to has not been complete. There's a lot of truth there. I've also shared a lot of that information, but there's also some very tricky and some distortions and reversals in there. So you need to look out for the stuff. That's why you also need to always take what resonates, leave the rest. And that's why I'm saying you need to really go beyond what you know and always keep expanding and keep really going now directly to source, because we're accessing source consciousness, and what we're accessing hasn't been available before. Otherwise, we already would be in the realities that we should be, okay? Because it's all down to history records. When we are remembering a different history, we also have a different reality. Because as you change the past, you change the future and the present. All in the now. That's what we're doing through the timeline corrections, through correcting the lion fall of the stargates and the families, through healing the fragmentation of the cosmic monad and the magic gray lines, indigo lines, okay, and the star races. by unifying all again as one, by overcoming the war over power. Okay, as we heal the war within, because everything stems from within and is then projected out and off. That's the reality. And that's what we're remembering now. That's how we're co-creating all the time. Okay, and now we're going to project all new realities as our consciousness is fully shifting, fully paradigm shift. So if we keep believing the same history, whether it's on the Ascension community level or, you know, the one that teach in school, it's still not the real one, because that's the fallen histories. So shift delete now. It has served us. Thank you very much. It has helped us learn our lessons and work through all the stuff and correct them. But now it's like we're merging with the ancient future, when as if none of this has ever happened. It's like a parallel reality timeline, which is the only one true organic timeline reality. No timelines anymore. Just true organic creatrix field beyond time, because time equals matrix and time cycles. Okay? Let it all go. Let it go. It's a fallen system. It's a phantom matrix. Dissolve the matrix in your mind. Let it all go. Empty yourself and let the Holy Spirit fulfill you with the truth. Okay? Connect to source. That's how you know real truth. When you let go of all you think you know. All right? And now's the time, because this is the final curtain call as I see it. So, and higher soul level, this is already decided. I mean, it's a fork in the road. Obviously, people still may need to make decisions, but it's more a frequency shift. Okay, it happens from within. So yeah, and this is how all our now with the 13 physical strands of DNA. So ultimately, the divine template of the 144 plus 3 is 1. That's fully igniting our, you know, for those forerunners ready now, fully igniting that are holding the field and igniting the new divine creatrix field. That is fully igniting our gifts and abilities. Believe it. Okay. How quickly they all come online? Let's see. But I'm planning on teleporting any moment now. That's it. All right. So let's do it. Also part of the activation that we did yesterday, and it's coming online powerfully. Anything else? Just quickly checking. No, I think I already said this. So divine masculine, feminine energies are archetypes, okay? We all carry them when we speak about this. These are energies, and divine unions are possible in all kinds of relationships, all right? So we're all part of this. In general, we all hold the blueprints for New Earth, okay? And it's just about us now remembering and igniting our unique keys and codes from within, which is happening, that is igniting our true memories, cosmic history, records and memories, okay, for those of us who are holding this in our templates and are literally here to return the true history to humanity and the whole cosmos, which is shifting our realities. It's all connected to the history records, the emerald records, and cosmic. All right. Now, as we remember our true history, who we truly are, and we already ascended, because everything else is forgetfulness and confusion, as we awaken from the dream, it all ignites. Okay, so it is done, because so it is. Now, God, I have even more. I think I've said most of this. So let go of all concepts, old beliefs, let go of the old realities. It's all the same. Remember, it's already yours, the abundance, the love, the freedom, the adventures, the new realities. Okay, keep merging with that, especially now over the next few days. Okay, fully let go of the old and just merge with that. Let it be shown to you from within you, all inside of you. Okay, all igniting from within. So nothing lies outside of you when you're at one with source and then you're at one with all. That's what divine union is ultimately about. Okay, and that's New Earth right there. Okay, the end of all wars, and yeah, the end of this freaking experience. So thank you very much. But yeah, we're done here. We've had enough, okay? Who's with me? So the end of all the time cycles, ascension cycles, and this is the cosmic reunion of the one, okay? The cosmic monad is the one. There's only one of us here. Keep remembering that. We're always speaking to ourselves here, okay? So dissolve into the nothingness that all is, and that's how we are being reborn anew right now, in no time whatsoever. Already happened. Merge with the quantum field, merge with infinite possibilities available now. Now is all there ever is, ever was, ever will be. And that's when everything changes in the blink of an eye. Now, thank you so much for everything. Again, details below if you want to still access the call, replay and the activation. I will be in the field during the solstice, and yeah, let's celebrate. Okay, so see you in the field and wherever else. Thank you so much. So much love, so many blessings, so much gratitude for your presence and for holding the frequency, holding the vision, and making the magic happen and igniting a new ascension earth and a new divine organic creatrix field right now. Now, let's do it. Okay, that's what we came here for. So, time to push the button. Let's roll. Let's rock. Bye.